Nation.
Let's go.
Welcome in to DNVR Buffs Primetime. We are presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. We have another legend on the set today. Colorado Buffaloes legend, Matt McChesney.
When you say another legend, you mean me and then one more person?
Of course, yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an every Thursday thing now, baby. It's
Yeah, I love
Chesney
it.
Thursdays.
Yep.
Didn't even have to text my guy. He just shows up now.
Every Thursday at 1:30, I'll be here. I thought we were 1:30
Creature of
or
habit.
1:45.
Football players are creatures of habit.
I love it.
Look, I am extremely consistent, and that's one thing that you can say about me that is true. Fact.
Yep.
Consistency.
Yep.
Yep. So what are we doing today, Jake?
I want to talk to you about the trenches because they played damn well last
Wait,
weekend.
before we get into that, I just
Okay.
have one side note.
Guess I should ask Ryan. Huh?
I just want everyone at home to know the immense sacrifice I'm making for the comfort of our guests on the
Here we go again.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
So keep in mind, he's bringing this up.
I know.
You're anti-fan.
Okay, so it's chilly out today.
It's actually not that cold.
It's not cold,
It's
but
not
it's in the
cold.
60s.
I wore a hoodie because I saw you wearing a hoodie on the Broncos show, so I was like, it's got to be cold. And
I went to
walked out, was all,
I
"No,
went to
it's
the zoo this morning. It was awesome. Okay. Yeah, the zoo.
Okay.
It was awesome. I wore a hoodie, and then I started sweating because it was 80 degrees outside.
But yeah, no, it's not. It's 67 degrees.
Okay, well, it feels like 97.
Here's the thing. So outside, it is a solid temperature, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a temperature that you would be cool with your house being.
What is it trying
Yes.
to get at, Jake?
So then the temperature in here has no reason to be warmer than that.
This is true. It's nice. It's a balmy 65.
So it's a nice temperature outside, but Matt, because he runs about 20 degrees warmer than everyone else on Earth, if you notice, every time he's been on the show, he's just sweating constantly.
Look, man, I'm not sweating right
You're
now.
not.
And do you know
your hair,
why?
I wasn't sure if you just liked the wet hair look,
No,
but no,
man,
this is how your hair
I
looks.
don't want to be over here sweating like a whore in church, but damn, bro. I mean, when you're 320 and 6'5", and you've been chunky your whole life, the fan is a godsend. Thank God for it. I know that you're anti-air movement, and I don't get it.
So the point I was getting at is I hate fans blowing on me.
So when you sleep, you just want to be like hot as the sun, just sweating, dripping down, cracking your ass like Niagara.
I get my temperature control based on how many limbs I put out of the covers when I'm sleeping. So if I'm a little hot, then I go one leg out. If I'm really hot, leg and an arm.
You don't. Well, so what? You don't like blankets either? You're just a sheets guy.
I actually, well,
I think you run hot, bro.
I do.
So then why don't you like the
like
fan? This is such a godsend.
I wish the temperature could be cooler without the air having to move.
So you just don't like the air movement.
I don't like the feeling of air constantly hitting me.
Let's settle this with chat. Chat,
He
put
hates
in
the
fan
wind,
or no
bro.
fan.
I hate the fucking
He
wind.
hates the wind.
Worst element.
Are you
A nice breeze is incredible. Wouldn't you agree, Jake?
absolutely? Are you Team RK, which is no fan, or Team Matt and Jake, which is
Gotta go with the fan.
Gotta go
bro.
with the
If I
fan.
didn't have a ceiling fan or a fan or air, can you imagine? So you're anti-air conditioning?
No, that's the thing is I
Well,
love
no,
the air.
Ty, you can't have it both ways, dog. You can't sit here and say that you're anti-air movement, and then when it's 105 degrees outside and you get in your car, you don't turn on the AC.
Here's the thing
you
about-
just sit in your car and sweat.
Okay, so sometimes I actually do that. But Allie will tell you that would probably be my beige flag. We just saw the video. Where I sometimes if I'm not going anywhere, because I don't want to go somewhere and show up sweaty. Let's just say I'm headed home. I know I'm going to get a shower when I get there. I'll just get in the car and just let it
You
be hot.
just sauna yourself in your car?
Yeah, it feels nice.
What doesn't the steering wheel get all slippery?
I like the air conditioning, but I can't be in an area where I can feel it hitting me.
Dude, if I didn't have air conditioning, life would be awful. I know why everybody back in the day was so pissed off all the times, because there was no central air.
Robert
period.
says arcade to space.
Yeah, dog, this
No
is
air
crazy.
movement.
You're nuts.
lot of fan comments.
Keep in mind that also the fan is now pumping on me at the highest level. I don't even know if
I'm
you can
catching
hear
some
it.
shrapnel.
Don't care. But I'm not
Air
over
shrapnel.
here.
straight air.
I'm also not sweating profusely. I'm not
Yep.
dripping like I was last week.
No, I'm happy
sorry.
for
I'm
you.
excited. Can't be excited.
Yep.
Sorry. Can't
I'm
be
happy for
excited.
you that you're comfortable.
Girls Club's no
It
fan.
is all about me, Ryan. So I thought it's Thursday. So
I'm definitely. I'm not expecting
what?
to be in the majority here for
you know
what it's
what?
worth.
I think we should turn the fan off, and when I start sweating, like a fat kid chasing a cupcake, okay? When I start sweating profusely, I'm just going to take it off the brow and start flicking it at his ass.
Yes,
you can either be hit with sweat or air. Which one?
Like I said, I
Air
wasn't
or sweat, Ryan.
air. I wasn't expecting to be like I wasn't expecting to be in the majority here.
Oh,
It's
you're
just
wrong.
my weird
You're-
weird quirk, but it isn't warm in here.
No, time out. Look, that's another thing that we have to get here. You don't have to be hot to put the fan on.
Okay, you guys.
You want air movement. I want it as cold as humanly possible.
I don't want to ever think
No,
about.
I just want to get under covers and just like, and it's nice.
like.
But here, I don't want to. I want to be focused on the show and doing good content, not. Oh my God, I'm sweating my balls off over here in the middle of the show.
Someone said golfers hate wind. Is that
True.
where it originates from?
Yep. I also, played a little ultimate frisbee back in the day. That's my most boulder quality. And wind really messes with that too.
I didn't know this was the anti-air show.
Yep.
But hey, I like it.
Let's talk
Turn
about
off the fan and crank up the heat.
Let's talk about football.
Nasty.
You know
Come
what
on.
fans I love? The ones
There
in the
you go.
comments.
Oh wow, we do love you. That was good.
Thanks.
Let's talk about USC.
Okay.
CU just put up their best rushing total of the season, fewest sacks on the season with 2. Just your thoughts on the improvement that we saw from Oregon to USC.
Look, the first quarter is what it is. Okay, they got down. The heart they showed was incredible, coming back the way that they did. The improvement I saw on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, the defensive side, they were better against the run, but, we cannot rush the passer to save our life. And Caleb Williams has all day to throw the ball back there. USC's offensive line is good, but they're not that damn good. Defensive linemen are supposed to be better than offensive linemen from an athletic standpoint. Like, we should be able to get some pressure. We did as the game wore on, but there were instances where on the touchdown pass to 16 to make it 21-0, he had the ball for like 12 seconds, bro.
Yeah, that was tough.
So they've got to keep improving there. But look, the offensive line specifically was much improved. I thought they came out and played a lot harder. They were more consistent with their fits. They did a pretty good job of picking up all the blitz scheme because USC did throw a lot of different stuff at them. But it's a testament to OB. Coach OB did a great job during the week. Switching guys out, putting 70 at right tackle for Savion when he was struggling a little bit. He went in there and played really well.
Well, Savion got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. He's out for a while.
Okay, so there you go. With some depth now, that's a good thing. So I think that the Buffs took a massive step forward. Let's be real. It all starts up front. We talked about that against Oregon and how, they got punched in the mouth and didn't have an answer. Well, they got punched in the mouth against SC too, and they were down, and they could have folded easily.
Yep.
And they didn't. They came back. They came rearing back not only, and honestly, they play like that in the first quarter. The game is totally different.
Yep.
So, I was in the locker room before the game. It was very businesslike. I didn't expect them to start that slow, but I do think that they figured something out, guys. Like, I think that there was a massive turning point. At halftime of that football game, there was a change in the way this team approaches, offensive football and defense because they played their balls off in the second half on the defensive side of the ball too.
So what do you think changed for them on the offensive line in terms of protection? Because, a lot of people last week were saying, go 12 personnel, this, that. They didn't do that. But they went up against a team that was leading the nation in sacks. And based on what they were giving up in the weeks before, this could have been a double-digit sack game, which we actually saw one of those in the NFL this week, which is crazy.
11 of them.
This could have been a double-digit sack game, but it wasn't. It was a 2-sack game, the best of the season so far. So what changed for them?
Look, the scheme was the same. They're still running, 60, 70 protection, 4-man slides, 3-man slides, rock calls, and squeeze gaps. They're still doing, from a technical standpoint, the same thing.
Yep.
There was a distinct difference in the way that they were attacking the line of scrimmage. There were more jump sets of the line of scrimmage. There was more play action. The play calling was a little bit more conducive towards helping the offensive line block.
Yep.
They didn't really max protect that much, but when you can run the football, which they actually figured out how to run the ball a little bit in this game.
Yep.
I don't know how many yards rushing they have, but they did a pretty good job, all things considered. with multiple ways to get the ball out too, right? So there are multiple guys touching the ball, receivers getting rushing attempts. That's the new offensive system here in college football and in the NFL. It's skill players are just going to be skill players, bro.
Get them the ball.
You're going to have receivers that are always receivers, but there's more Deebo Samuels now than there has ever been.
By the way, they ran for 193 yards on 4.3 yards per carry,
and that is
45 rushes.
So 45 carries, 193 yards. That's Colorado football. That's what you want. That allowed Shedeur to have one-on-one matchups in the second half. They had to bring the safety down into the box. They had to start moving the defensive line to adjust against the zone scheme. When you start running gangs and a gang is like the tight end to the tackle, everybody moving in the same direction, picking up gaps and picking up men. When you start doing that consistently, they have to counter it with movement and adding a linebacker into the run blitz and dropping a safety down to accommodate for that linebacker that now commits to the run primarily. And that opened up huge play action shots to Horn. And, it was everything coming together at the right time. And it took them 6 quarters in the Pac-12 to figure out how to play the offense that they want to play.
So you say all that, but we talked a lot about mentality and how running the ball is a mentality. Right. Would you say it's 50-50 between what you're talking about scheme-wise and mentality, or is it more mentality? Where would you say that balance is?
Well, they looked pretty pissed off before the game. Mm-hmm. I wasn't in their post-game. My son's game was at like 2, so we had to leave in the third quarter, unfortunately. But look, they were mad. And yeah, man, I mean, look, I know I harp on this a lot, but my entire life playing football has been spent with my hand on the ground. Either it's a 5 technique, 3 technique, 1 technique, or a guard or a center. So I only know one way to do this. And I think that this perception that you can be this like really nice, cuddly guy on the field is fucking bullshit. I think you need to be a killer. You can be the nicest dude off the field you want, be a complete gentleman, but I don't want to help people off the ground. I'm not trying to be nice to you and shit. If you get hurt, you signed a fucking liability waiver. That's not my problem. So, I'm sorry, but this is a violent game. It's a collision sport. This is meant for, 6'5", 330-pound meatheads that, what else am I going to go do? What else am I going to go do? I'm not going to be a fucking doorman. So it's either football or you come up with some other shit, Jake. So
sitting right there.
I think this is all because of football.
Yeah.
I don't have anything in my life without this game. Mm-hmm. So it's all about attitude, and it's the attitude you bring to it daily. And the offensive line, and look, I can't sit here and say that the defense played well when they gave up 48 points. We have got to figure out what we can do. We got to get Shiloh back. The attitude up front needs to be different, in my opinion. They played hard. They made plays at times, but 48 points isn't going to cut it, is it?
Nope.
So they've got to figure that out. Offensively, though, this team is a fucking juggernaut, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the number 1 red zone offense in football. Shedeur's the number 1 rated quarterback in the fourth quarter in the country.
And on fourth down.
And on fourth down, which I didn't know that, but
4 for 4 first downs and 2 touchdowns.
Not the best of the business for nothing there, Jake.
I mean, he took that from me. But
this cross-pollination is working.
I also got it from Curtis.
Shit, it goes full circle then. But look, it starts up front. They've figured out how to go 3-2, and I think could potentially go to the bye week 5-2 and should. And it's because the offensive line has continued to grow each week. And that means they've taken lumps, bro. Like, the offensive line has gotten some major scrutiny. People have been mad at them, myself included. They've taken lumps. They've had injuries. You hope Savion's okay. Yep. But at the same time, the attitude was different. It has to be different. And they need to walk into Tempe with a total nasty disposition. The whole team, not just the offensive line. Like, I don't really, it doesn't really matter what I think, but there shouldn't be a whole lot of like smiles and laughs and like, hey, I know that we had a moral victory last week, but all 48-41 did for me was piss me off. That's all it did. Like, yeah, this is great. I'm glad we were close, but God damn it, we should have won this fucking game, and we're better than these people, and now we need to take it out on Arizona State and Stanford before we hit the bye week and get healthy and hopefully get Hunter back and a variety of other guys that are dinged up. So, look, man, You've got 2 weeks now starting in Tempe, and if we overlook these people, it will be the biggest mistake we've ever made.
And
number one.
I want to talk about that, though, because I've seen that out there a lot. Can't overlook ASU.
You can't.
No one overlooks anyone after they've lost 2 games in a row.
Right.
And it's not like there's another big prize on the other side of ASU. You're playing a worse team next week.
On a short week.
So, to me, there's no overlooking this team. This is... Everyone's digging in because they're saying, I hate the feeling of losing. I love the feeling of winning. And we have a great opportunity to go win this week. But it's also very different than like CSU. CSU, you came in 2-0, riding high. Everyone in the country was patting you on the back. And then, the it's personal thing, it almost became like no one even considered the thought that CSU could be in the game. It was just, they're gonna wipe the floor with them. This is
Even
totally
us.
different. Everything's changed.
Yeah.
The national temperature has cooled a little bit. They're still talking about them for sure. They always will. But it's not, the same as it was earlier. And this, to me, is the opposite of a trap game. This is a get-right game.
Yes.
And they need it bad. And so I have no fears about them overlooking ASU.
I mean, RK, that's a great point. And look, they can't overlook them, and they won't.
Yeah.
Coach Prime's not going to allow it. The staff is not going to allow it. Shador's not going to allow it.
Yep.
I mean, come on. That is a leader of men, boys. I mean, that is the kind of guy you want leading your professional franchise, let alone your college franchise. I think he's going to stay in school, but I can't predict the future right now, bro, because he is fucking tearing it up. So, look, go to Arizona State and hammer a team that you should hammer. They're going to play hard. Their coach played for them. He's an alum. He wants that place to be great again.
Yep.
So there's no bad blood. They're not dogging each other out. They're trying to be respectful, which is the way to go against this team. If you want to talk shit against CU, then good luck, I guess. But I anticipate that CU will go take care of business. But it starts with attitude first, boys. I mean, they've got to go down there. They have to know they're the big dog. They need to act like it. They need to go out and not do it pregame. Yep. No running over to the pitchfork and cleating it up or spitting on it on film.
That won't happen.
Just don't do it.
It won't.
Don't do it. You're on a fucking business trip. Go down there, go to sleep, wake up, kick these people's asses, get back on the plane, and come the fuck home. You are not in Tempe for any other reason.
Yep.
It's business trip Saturday. Get this done. They play Friday night against Stanford, right?
Yep.
And then put 60 on Stanford on national TV and have a nice 3-day weekend.
Yep.
That sounds like
Into
a
the
pretty
bye.
good.
Into the bye week.
Into the bye. Shit, a 10-day weekend.
Gonna go
Yep.
home, see your family.
Hey,
And you can be 5-2.
nice little bye week. And then it's one game away from bowl eligibility. And the back half of this schedule is daunting. So these 2 games are so important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everybody in the back half's ranked other than UCLA, right?
Oregon State is. Utah
Arizona.
is. Oh, Arizona.
Arizona's not.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think UCLA beats Washington State this week. Washington State's
Wow.
ranked 13th.
Washington State is
in
up
the
to
Rose Bowl. They're
13.
13th right now, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's because our guy Cam Ward was cool to us.
Yep. Exactly.
So they got rolling up there, bro. They deserve to be in a bigger conference.
Don't do it again.
Be careful. All right. Shout out to our friends over at Baxter Shanker. If you get hurt, they're here to help. No fees to speak with them about your case. No fees while they work on your case. And no fees unless they win your case. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They got neighborhood offices all over the city. Whether it's a car accident, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, or trucks, they can even help if you're injured at work. If you need to sue, smash the 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free.
I came up with
Backus
that. If
and
we're
Shanker
stealing
wins.
credit from each other
Did
today.
you really come up with that?
Yeah.
That's gold. That's radio gold.
Thanks.
And then MSU Denver. Turn your goals into greatness at MSU Denver. It's always good to go back to school, get your degree. If you're changing career paths or just want to go get your degree if you never did it, MSU's got you covered. You can go online or in person. They've got 90-plus majors and 10 graduate programs with courses online, in person, or both. Learn more at msudenver.edu.
Fun little MSU Denver fact.
Let me know.
They've always had a proud basketball program there. And CU will be playing them in an exhibition
Oh, really?
in basketball before the season starts this year.
Nice.
They played Nebraska and won last year.
Yep.
Interesting.
CU basketball schedule's out, by the way, which
Yep.
means single game tickets will be going on sale soon. That team's going to be fun.
And if you want to watch, we'll talk about Fubo later, but like their first 6 games are on the Pac-12 network.
Oh, boy.
If you want to watch the game this week, you got to have football.
Yeah, true.
Might as well get in now.
And that's why I got it.
All right. Let's kind of pay off this headline then, just because we've seen on Well Off, Javon Antonio's working with Tim Brewster, and then all of a sudden we see Adam Hopkins on the other side of the ball lining up across wide receivers.
Okay, so I want to. I'll start with Hopkins because I'm not as sure about this one.
Okay.
That is a different jersey. Now, if he were to switch to defense, he would need a new practice jersey, right? Because his offensive practice jersey has his name on the back. But I couldn't tell, and maybe the chat has a better idea, or a lot of people's families watch this show. So if you're a relative of Adam Hopkins and he is switching to defensive back, let us know in the chat. But that one I'm less sure of, just because it wasn't totally clear in the video if that was him. You mentioned last week that Caleb Mathis was wearing 18 in practice at one point.
Well, he was
scout team.
And then he wore it for the game against USC. But then when I tweeted that out, people told me he was wearing it the week before also. And then they had Adam Hopkins playing like in the Star in the pregame last week. But it all made me wonder, like they're all wearing 18. That's what Slusher wears. Like, are they just trying to like pull a quick one on USC or something? So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. So not as sure on Adam Hopkins, although Jay says Hopkins has been a DB for a few weeks now, and that would add up with what you were saying about the pregame.
Well, I will say this, just listening to the conversation, there's multiple guys on this team that play multiple positions on offense and defense.
Yep.
And Prime did that. And look, I'm no special player or anything, but I played both ways in the NFL.
Yeah, you did.
And I personally think it's a trait that a lot of players have that's underutilized. I think there's a lot of guys that can do both, and you just have to give them the opportunity to. And just like guys play both ways in high school, I hope this opens the door to Travis Hunters, the guys playing both ways in practice, doing more than one thing. I mean, the more you can do, the longer you're going to stick around in the league, the more opportunity you're going to have in college. So I personally think that it should open the door for multiple guys to play different positions and both ways. And think about it from a recruiting standpoint, bro. Like, you're bringing a kid in and he wants to play receiver, but he also is a badass safety, or he's a great defensive end but also could play tight end. Yep. And Prime's like, yeah, you could probably do both. Show me if you can do it or not. I did it. Why can't you? Yep.
And his whole thing is you have to be dominant on one side of the ball before I'll allow you to test out the other side. On Adam Hopkins, he was a great defensive back in high school.
Yep.
A couple people in the chat have kind of confirmed it, saying that his mom posted on Twitter saying that he's moving. And my guess here would be with the injuries they've had in the secondary, this is an opportunity to play.
Huge opportunity.
Where they turn to him and say, hey, like if you want to consider making this switch, there might be a chance for you to get on the field this year. And obviously, these guys are competitors. They want to do that.
Well, so always a great question is, it was posed to me by Mike Tannenbaum. Do you want to play defense or do you want a job? And I was like, job. And they're like, you're a fat guy now, move to guard. And I was like, cool.
What was, just quickly, what was the eating program like for you to get up to offensive line weight?
Well, I was 310 when I moved from defense, so I didn't really do anything. It was the same. I ate more ice cream, I guess. I got to 325 pretty quick, bro.
Okay. Oh, so that's where you needed to get.
Losing the weight is more of an issue than adding the weight in my world. Just saying. Although I have lost like 35 pounds in like 8 weeks, 6 weeks.
Nice, man. Congrats.
I'm trying to get sexy.
It's working.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. I said it wasn't working, but
So Adam Hopkins as a junior, he played both ways. He had 2 interceptions. Both were pick sixes.
Wow.
So he definitely has the ability. And as you mentioned, they probably just need bodies at this point because they faced a lot of adversity already at corner. But Carter's coming back. Slush is back at practice. Shiloh's back at practice. We don't know if they're going to play yet, but they're back.
Did you guys see Shiloh roasting his dad?
Which time?
In the car with the handicap.
Oh,
yeah. Classic.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But it's for you, too.
It's your spot.
It's your spot. You only got 8 toes.
Javon Antonio, though. I think this one's more interesting just because of what Coach Brew has already done with Mikey Harrison, who was, in his words, kind of in between being a small tight end, big wide receiver. He moves him to tight end, and he's become really like Shador's security blanket at this point in time. Yeah.
He's a stud.
So, obviously, this comes up because in the well-off, there was a clip of Coach Tim Brewster talking to Javon Antonio and coaching him up. And so the question is he moving? And then, speaking of Shiloh, there was another clip yesterday from Darius, Reach the People, who showed Shiloh and Javon Antonio talking. And Shiloh was talking about like something that the tight end, when the tight end goes out into the flat, how he was going to fly down. So it feels like they're giving Javon a look there. And I love the idea, especially with the emergence of Omarion Miller, which, remember, how long of the offseason were we saying they need a big receiver, they need a big receiver, they need a big receiver? And we always came back to, at the end of that conversation, and said, well, it could be Omarion Miller.
Yep.
But they went and got Javon Antonio because they needed it. Well, now they have it. And it didn't turn out to be Javon. Now, if he stays at wide receiver or goes back and forth, it's not that he can't still have an impact. He had a couple nice catches in the Oregon game, which was his first game back since TCU.
Yeah.
But it's probably it's a similar conversation. Look, Omarion just jumped you on the depth chart, but there's a huge gap behind Mikey Harrison on the tight end depth chart, and we'd like to be able to run some 2 tight end looks, but we don't necessarily trust any of the other guys to go out there. Are you interested in working with Coach Brew a little bit? If you're Javon Antonio, who's had a little bit of an issue getting separation against corners, you're maybe seeing a path for yourself to not only get on the field here, but hopefully, make it to the NFL and be a pass-catching tight end. So I hope it works out for him, and I hope they use it because you can, if you're getting a single high look, which they've gotten a decent amount of.
A lot.
You love to hit the seam, but they're going to know that it's coming from one side. So if you do want to get in 22 against that look, go up both seams and let Shador pick which one is open.
Well, look, a big receiver that can move to tight end and put on a little weight. And then the next part of this is you can't play if you're a liability in the run game blocking. And I'm not saying you have to be an ass kicker, but you got to get in the way.
Yep.
You got to fucking spit in his ear. You got to do something. You can't just let him run up the field and beat the shit out of you because you used to play receiver. So if he'll stick his nose in there and get a little nasty at the point of attack.
And I thought he was their best blocking wide receiver.
And there you go. So if he'll keep that up and buy into that, he's a matchup nightmare against a linebacker or a nickel safety. Yep. I mean, he's bigger than they are. He can run the seam. The middle of the field, when those safeties split or one drops down, the middle of the field is a really, really sweet spot. And if you have somebody that can affect it, especially 2 guys, plus the way they play the middle of the field with Horn and Miller and the rest of these freak receivers, I mean, you've got matchup problems everywhere. If they can line up in a 12 personnel and a tight end heavy look with a tight end at the point of attack and a scissor player here, and they can start running zone and they can put him on that back part where he's scissoring back to the defensive end, they can turn that into the bootlegs with Shador. He's going to have opportunities to catch the ball in the flat and go target corners and safeties as a tight end, with the ball in his hands. So I think this is a great move for the kid. I love the fact that this coaching staff is so forward thinking and saying instead of just you played this position and that's the position you play, they're like, well, shit, do you want to play or do you want to play the position? Football's football, man. The trench is the trench. Receiver's receiver. You can be a kick-ass tight end slot receiver and still be considered a receiver.
And Michael Harrison, has everyone's ears perked up when they say, hey, we're considering moving you positions, because he went from a guy who was a walk-on afterthought, never going to see the field at wide receiver, to, I believe he's 3rd in the country in tight end catches.
That's wild.
Yes.
Now
Who's number 1 is the tight end from CSU who carved us.
Oh, yeah.
That kid's a stud.
Yeah,
An absolute stud.
Yeah.
So, if you're Javon Antonio, you're like, I see the path for me here. And the other thing for a Tim Brewster or for a Sean Lewis or for Shador, these little plays that they have designed up to get Michael Harrison easy catches that are 5-yard gains right now, if you're Javon Antonio, you're looking at that saying, man, if that was me in that position, I might be able to turn that into a 10, 15-yard gain.
Absolutely. And look, it's only going to open – if you have multiple tight ends on the field that can play and catch the football, it makes life a living hell for your linebackers. It makes play action so much easier. The fact that they can throw the ball the way they do, it opened up the run for 190 yards. And now, if you're Arizona State, you've got to be okay, look, they figured out how to run the ball last week. So are we going to load up and stop the run, or are we going to give up 4.5 yards a clip? I want to see them play the first quarter the way they play second halves. They've got to figure out how to, like, move from the slow starts have got to stop, and it's happened now 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
So we've got the slow start cannot happen at Tempe. They need to go out and get up 14-0 and have Arizona playing from behind so they can comfortably control the game, get on the plane, and come home.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Tim Brewster's just the guy to do this, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the one who found
he's a
Antonio Gates on the
badass.
basketball court. We already talked about what he's done with Mikey Harrison. I mean, Kyle Pitts, when he was at Florida, was kind of the same thing in between wide receiver and tight end. And I think it's why the Falcons are having trouble with him right now, getting him the ball.
Well,
so.
they don't know how to use him. I mean, if you can't
True.
figure out how to use Kyle Pitts, then maybe it's you.
Zico's got to be kicking himself right now.
Yeah, of course. But I think, I mean, just what's happened to Mikey and now Javon, maybe Sato just didn't want it, honestly.
Well, and I don't know if he was built to be coached by Tim Brewster, which is it's different.
All fire, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Coach Brewster is a bad MFer, bro. Period.
Yep.
All right, he has got energy through the roof. He expects greatness. He's not going to coddle you. He's not going to hold your hand and shit and make you feel good. He wants you to go win. And I appreciate that as a player and as a coach. Like, I don't want a player that wants me to, like, coddle his ass.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the best you can be or not? Are you trying to go to the fucking league or aren't you? Do you want to just play college football and get a scholarship and go to class, or are you trying to be a fucking college football player and leave a legacy? Mm-hmm. He wants to make his guys great. He doesn't just want to make them college graduates. You're in college. Go graduate. Congratulations. I hate when I hear coach like, we got a 97% graduation rate. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do in college. You're supposed to graduate, dog. Like, what? Don't be all happy about that shit. That's expected.
Yeah.
I just looked up Zico just to see.
He's not playing, is he?
Listed. He's on Mississippi State, but they haven't even added 2023 to his career stats, so I'm assuming he hasn't played yet.
I thought he had some issue with eligibility.
I heard about that too. So
Randy Gregory's stat line 0 0 0 0 0 0 cut.
I don't want to talk about the Broncos, man. Shut up. Yeah, who?
Someone said he's not playing this year, which would make sense based on what I just
All right, shout out to our friends over at Game Time.
Second-time transfer.
I thought he was a graduate, though. That's why I was confused about the whole thing. He's not?
As a second-time transfer and a non-graduate, Triari no longer qualifies for the NCAA's one-time transfer exception. By the way, just because I know this was brought up in the chat, Tez Walker, just magically cleared by the NCAA
Middle of
today.
the goddamn season.
And they said, oh, yeah, well, they provided us with new information that we didn't have before.
The fucking NCAA, man. Just turning it back on UNC like, oh, you should have got us this before. Like, it wasn't in their best interest to have one of their best receivers on the field.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
Get them.
It's crazy.
The fucking NCAA. I agree. That should be their name.
Free Tyler Brown.
Super corrupt.
And he is, yeah. Free
organization.
Tyler Brown.
If you still work there, by the way.
And by the way, if they were to...
You suck, man. Quit your job.
I would love to see it happen, but if they were to flip the decision on Tyler Brown right now, it would make me even more mad.
Why can't he play?
Right.
Second-time transfer.
Play again? Oh.
Second-time FBS transfer.
Second time.
Which also, I mean...
Who gives a shit?
He transferred down to FCS.
Who cares?
Yes.
The transfer portal allows you to transfer. So transfer.
And also, I mean, his circumstances are so unique compared to someone who's just transferring for playing time or anything like that.
I wonder what fucking nerd at the NCAA office was like, you know what? Tyler doesn't get to play. No.
All right, let's move on.
Shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Guys, this is probably the best weekend to go and see Coach Prime and the Buffs live in action. at Sun Devil Stadium. What do they call it now?
Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah, it has some
Sure.
Mountain West
Oh,
or
right,
something.
yeah.
Mountain Vista Stadium.
Anyways, go to ASU Stadium in Tempe and hit up Game Time if you want to get in the door, or just honestly go to our tailgate package and get a
Yes,
ticket from
we
there.
still have like a couple more. So I think we have 3
What?
tickets left to the game.
I was
There you
going to
go.
call it Valtrex Stadium.
So if you want, you can get set up with our tailgate and ticket package. There's 3 more of those left. So you got to get on it quickly.
Get
But
on
you
it.
can just sign up for the tailgate if you want to come hang out with us before the game.
Are you going?
I've decided
To Arizona?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm turning up.
You're turning
Oh,
up.
yeah?
I'm turning up before the game.
Let's go.
Arcade's getting hammered.
Yeah.
Zesty Arcade on the
No,
post game.
don't start that now.
Bro, when
Don't start that
I
now.
saw him after the CSU game, you were sober.
I know, because I have these post-game shows that I
Yeah.
feel like I have to keep it together for. But Tempe just brings out a different animal in me.
You and everybody else, man.
Comment at the bottom.
Oh my god! But if you don't get in on one of our last tickets, you
Yes.
can get in on Game Time for
Yes.
some good deals. Right now, I'm seeing like Section 10, which is on like the 10-yard line ish for $130. That's with fees included. That's a good deal.
There you go. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And if you are unable to make it to Phoenix or Tempe for this weekend's game,
Make sure you get some saucy Jakes in there too while you're typing that.
could I just admit I,
I can't
don't
read
fully
the screen.
understand the joke?
Yeah,
What's Saucy
it's
Jake?
not.
I don't know.
I'll explain after the show.
Okay.
What kind of shit is that, man?
It's
You'll
some-
be here too.
It's
Okay,
some
cool.
well-off
Never
shit.
mind then.
I don't know. It's something that happened on Well Off.
It's
that's going
off
crazy.
of well off, but it's not. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. How can you go to the tailgate? Go to thednvr.com. Check out our events page.
What do you do, man?
Anyway, shout out to Fubo. If you cannot make it to the stadium, Fubo has the Pac-12 network, and they've got you guys set. You can start watching immediately with a free trial. You also get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR. I love Fubo, man. It's the best place to watch football. They also got Red Zone, Big Ten Network, SEC Network, all that stuff on there. And you can just easily record everything and go back to it. Watch all your favorite college football and the NFL of Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR. Sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
All right.
All right.
What'd you do?
I don't know what I did.
Yeah, right. You don't know.
What did I do?
I don't know what you did.
I don't think you did
Tell me.
anything.
Did I?
It's Saucy Jake. I want to know what that
There
means.
we go.
I don't know what the hell that means. I want to know now.
Let's talk about
Continue.
another NCAA rule change, though.
Oh, more of with these guys. Cool.
Well, I actually kind of like this change.
Oh, yeah, great. NCAA rules.
No,
What's this one?
No photo shoots for unofficial visits. Also, keep in mind, they changed the rule for official visits to be unlimited for each recruit.
But also that costs the school a lot of money.
Right, but like if you're a recruit, you don't only have 5 now. You can
No.
just go.
Yeah, which is great. So this is, I have since learned, literally a cry for help from recruiting staffs who are doing these photo shoots for the official visit guys. And like, as you guys have seen with CU, this is one hell of a lift. I mean, they're pulling Lambos into the IPF. Like, you know, they're bringing in the Louis bags and all that stuff. And these guys want to take a bunch of pictures. They have that new wall with all the different designs on it. So it's like hours of work just doing the photo shoots. Then you got to have people to edit the photos, send them out. It's a heavy lift. So apparently this started from recruiting staffs basically like banding together, being like, hey, we got to do something about this. I would be upset if they were taking it away from official visitors.
Yes.
Because to me, like, that's a big part of it. Like you want to look fly and post pictures and, you know, see how everyone feels when you post it online. But I kind of understand the beg for mercy from the recruiting staffs on unofficial photo shoots.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well,
How do I know where this is going?
We're bitching about taking pictures. Isn't your job as the recruiting staff to take pictures and post? It is, though.
You gotta understand that these.
Yeah, I do understand. I do recruiting for a living. I'm just saying, I don't think it's as bad as you think it is.
It's not as bad. It's just one of those things where it was just like, we could use our time better than this.
Well, and it's just annoying when you see recruits literally clout chasing on Twitter.
Well, time out. If you're not clout chasing on Twitter, you're a fucking idiot. What do you mean?
I mean,
Let's be real. Twitter and Instagram and TikTok are mediums for the players to get their name, image, and likeness out there.
Absolutely.
If you're not going to take pictures when you go there, why are we going on the recruiting trip?
But
I'm sorry if the intern doesn't want to take pictures and load them and edit them.
See that?
Do your fucking job.
No, you're undercutting people who are
I'm not undercutting
qualified.
anybody. No,
Yes, you are. They're not interns. They are employees.
Well, okay, so how many kids did photo shoots this weekend, do you know? I saw maybe 4.
Well,
No. I mean,
From this weekend alone, how many of the kids
I would have no idea.
uniform photo shoots?
We saw at least 10.
I saw one,
We saw
one
a bunch
kid
of
walking
kids.
down the stairs. I saw a couple other kids in uniform, right, with the coaches. But Gage Ginther went last week. He didn't do a photo shoot. He's a
Did he
four-star
just not
recruit.
want to?
well, he's a commit.
I don't. Yeah, but he's on a visit.
Was he on an OV official?
I'm pretty sure. I
Was he?
couldn't tell you. I don't know the difference between the
But
two because
this wasn't in
place.
place.
But still,
All I'm saying is, CU is probably in the upper echelon here, but there's a lot of schools who have like a staff of 2 for this.
well, okay, but at the same time, I see parents dressing up in uniforms and shit. That's not. We're not going to outlaw that. I'm just
are you
saying,
talking about the Florida guy?
Yeah, man. I've seen it
Shit's
multiple
hilarious.
times.
Outlawing
I also
that.
think it's super stupid and funny, but
It's hilarious.
look-
Can we get you back in a Buffs uniform next time Nick
not a
goes
shot
up?
in hell. Dude, if you think I'm going to go up there and get in uniform with my kid, no. I'd
We
have
want
to
to see
jump.
you in that
I'll
extra
put it on
medium
and then
number
jump
8
off
jersey.
the top of Folsom. Come on, dog. Don't put me. Don't do that. That's not. Nah, you don't.
I want the white jersey too.
Yeah.
Why do you want the whites? Just so I look like Frumpy Russ. Why? I had to change my shirt. I was in a white shirt coming over here, and I looked at myself and I was like, "Nah, fuck this. We gotta get a black T-shirt on quick."
I want the stormtrooper on Matt for Nick's next visit.
Shit. Hey, when I was 275, 280 back in the day in the all whites, I looked super clean. I got to the Broncos, I was 340 in all whites, and I was like, God damn!
All right.
Wow, big boy needs to get on the bike, dog.
Moving on.
I love where we took that. Give me some. That was awesome. Do your jobs. Take pictures.
The
Yes?
future. Skip Bayless, Fox Sports on Undisputed today, said that yesterday, Coach Prime could win multiple national championships here at CU. And we've kind of talked about this weirdly throughout this week, but just since he got here, like, it's all here for him. Like, he could do whatever he wants to do in college football at CU.
Facts.
What are your thoughts on what you heard just about the topic?
Other than being incredibly excited when I heard it, because the idea of Colorado winning a national championship. Look, I played on a team that was like a percentage point away from playing for it, and it hurt. Like, it hurt when Nebraska got to go play, and I just feel like this university, that's what our standard is, and we want to operate at that level. And for Coach Prime to come in here and get this place to a point where, look, Skip Bayless is what it is. The fact that he's talking about it is the important part, not necessarily the vessel. I don't really like Skip Bayless, but that's neither here nor there. The fact that it's being projected out there, multiple national titles, I got to agree with it, bro. Like, the recruits that are there, the mindset in the building, the staff, the commitment to excellence, the fact that Coach Prime is actively talking about it. Like, no offense to Coach Barnett, but back in the day, I remember saying to him before my senior year, why don't we have the goal of being national champions on the big board? Why is it just win the Big 12? Well, everything, remember 2001 and things have to line up correctly, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, I mean, I get your point. You're the head man. But even if it's not attainable and your team's not as good, I still want to strive for championships. I think that should be a goal that should be on the wall that everybody sees and looks at every day. Like, even if we can't do it today, who's to say we can't get that shit done in a year or 2 years or 3 years? It's about building and consistency and showing up every day. So that's what they're doing in Boulder. They're building this correctly, brick by brick. the level of player that they have there now is going to get them to probably 7 or 8 wins this year, I think, and a pretty good bowl game. Just please God, no Air Force. But the transfer portal this year and the 4 5-star recruits they're going to be signing in December early, that are all going to be early enrolling. The kid that just came out and said he's not playing any more high school football this year.
Aaron Butler.
I mean, he's a stud, and people are mad at him. Bro, congratulations.
Yep.
If you don't want to play you don't want to play exhibition football anymore in high school, and you've outplayed it, that's smart. Save your body, save the hits, go train, get the hell out of high school early enroll, get into Boulder, use the spring as your red shirt, and start playing college football and go get your, as they say, movie check. So I think that the sky's the limit. I know RK probably feels the same way. Like, I'm sure people are looking at Skip and saying, you're crazy, that's bullish. But I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years from now if Coach Sanders, Coach Prime has 2 or 3 national titles, especially with a 12-team playoff and moving to the Big 12. Like, I'm sorry, but Texas and Oklahoma leaving and Colorado and all the teams coming in, and Coach Prime now gets Dallas as a hotbed. We're not just going there to say come to Colorado and play on the West Coast. We're saying, we're going to be in Dallas and we're going to be in Texas 3 times this year. I mean, he did something in Dallas. I can't remember what it is, but it was pretty big. So I think that the sky's the limit, bro. Actually, let me take that back. There's no ceiling.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I think he could reset the market on how coaches coach, how they recruit, how they develop, how the players are treated.
He's already doing it.
He is. And I've said this multiple times, but I wouldn't be surprised 5-10 years from now if it's documentaries and 30s for 30s, like, Prime's Buffs and whatever. But it's changing everything, and thank God.
Yeah.
First of all, I can't even look at the chat right now without laughing. You guys are on one. And also, how have you missed Matt McChesney?
I can't see the goddamn screen.
Not you. I'm saying them.
It's on the left.
Anyways.
You can't make fun of yourself, bro. You can't make fun of nobody else.
It's all right there. And I hate to continue going back to this, but I will. It's only one thing. Only one thing he needs. And that's NIL money.
Yep.
And that's where CU fans have to step in and
pony up
and do their part. I've actually I don't even want to say that, but I think this is going to come. I think that part is going to come. It's the last puzzle piece. It's the one thing that necessarily Coach Prime can't control himself. He's obviously helping it by doing everything that he's doing and increasing the interest in the Buffs. But to me, the second that puzzle piece clicks in, there is no limit.
Yep.
There's no limit to how high this team can go, because what are you going to need? You're going to need SEC level linemen.
Yep.
That might be the most precious resource in college football. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why Alabama and Georgia dominate everyone. It's just because there's like 15, 20 of those guys in the world.
Facts.
In any given class, any given time, and they're getting all of them. Mm-hmm. And you don't think that those guys want to play for Coach Prime if they know that means you still get to compete for a championship? They do.
And you get paid.
Right. Exactly. There's always going to be those guys who grew up in Georgia. They always want to play Georgia. You know, like the SEC country is also the one producing these athletes. But the second that domino falls, and that is a combination of, Colorado having success and Colorado having the NIL to back it up, the second that falls into place, it's over.
Yep.
And Colorado joins that conversation as a national power.
I think we'll be there next year. I personally, and I'm saying this early, but after the transfer portal cycle this year, I think Shedeur comes back. I know Travis Hunter's coming back. I think everybody comes back pretty much. And they reload the skill positions. They bring in some more guys to just kind of fill the coffers. And then, let's be real. I think that they're going to do a great job recruiting big guys, and I know damn well that they're transfer portaling in some big-time players. Like, you just know they are. So when that happens and you get NFL caliber, like first, second, third round grade NFL caliber offensive linemen in the inside trench at your tackles, on your 3 technique, your nose tackle, your pass rushers, it's over, bro. 100%, like you said. You've now got skill players to mix with big athletes. It's fucking over.
Yeah.
They're going to be printing NIL checks in Boulder, and just you're going to have a top 10 ranking. They'll start next year top 10, and just roll and see if Shedeur can win a Heisman, and you can take this bitch to the top.
Yep. And I really do think that next year the goal will be make the college football playoff.
Absolutely.
And
with 12 teams,
we talked about this yesterday. Like I said, this year you kind of had to get transfers who were backups or transfers who were part-time contributors. This year, I think you're going to get transfers who are starters at big programs.
Dogs.
Exactly.
Who want to come
in
in.
our balling and say, you know what, playing here in Ohio is cool. I want to go play for Coach Prime.
Yep.
Well, and there's like still room to like obviously improve the roster. Like these guys who are the top transfer recruits in the country are going to see an opportunity just come right in, and you're just in the starting lineup basically.
Well,
Yeah.
let's be real here too. If you're on the roster in Boulder right now and you're underperforming, guess where you're going?
Yeah. Well,
You're also going to the transfer portal.
Probably.
Like, this is a business, everyone.
credit to Romy, who posted a clip of her talking to Coach Prime during their Coach Prime's playbook.
Yeah.
And she was talking about what you learn about your team when you're down. And he went on a long kind of diatribe about how I want to see who's up and cheering on their guys and who's doing this and who's doing that and who's engaged and who cares when we're down, 41-14. He said, yeah, when we're making the comeback, everyone's up.
Right.
But they think that I didn't notice who
He sees everything.
Exactly. Who was, hanging their head and didn't want to be out there anymore when we were getting pushed around. And he said, and I quote, I will get rid of it at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
So
The
there
transfer
you go.
portal is a lot. Look, Coach Wilson, I talk about him every week because something relevant always comes up about this. He used to constantly say, I love the NFL because I can just cut your ass. Well, now the transfer portal is you being cut. If you don't do your job or you don't meet snuff, they will say, son, you can stay here, but we're going to make your life a living hell and you're never going to play, or you can go to the transfer portal.
And you don't
gotta
even
go
have
at
to
that
say
point.
make your life a living hell, honestly. It's just you could stay here, but you're
You're
not
not
going
going
to
to play. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's me throwing that in there. If I
Yes.
was the coach, I would say, if you don't go to the transfer portal, you can stay here and I'm going to make your life a living hell. Maybe you two wouldn't say that, but I damn sure would.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
That's just me, though.
I'm just saying you don't even have to. You just tell a guy, hey, you're not going to play here.
Can you want to?
Yes, you can.
Awesome.
and I'm
Thanks.
sure
Thanks,
you do.
Ryan.
Wait, I just quickly,
Yes, Ryan.
Aaron Butler, you supported that decision.
I absolutely, 100%.
If your guys came to you saying the same thing, would you support that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Look, man.
Do you think that's going to be a trend?
I think it should be a trend. And I know high school coaches hate this, but
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't care. I could give a shit what the high school coach is like. Look, and this is why. As a high school coach, your job should not be to win high school football games. Your job should be to prepare young men for life outside of football through the lessons of football. And if you do that correctly, you will win a ton of fucking high school football games. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If a kid has the potential, and isn't this kid a 5-star recruit?
He's
A
He's a
4-star.
high 4-star, right?
He's gonna be
So
he's
he'll
gotta
be
be
a
a
5-star.
5-star.
Yeah, he'll be a 5-star. Okay. Whatever. Even a high 4-star. Who gives a shit? He's a potential NFL football player, right? He's early enrolling, right? Yes. Both of those are facts. So anybody that has a problem with this kid early enrolling, I'm sorry that you're not any good and you weren't a 4-star and you don't have this opportunity. But it's smart of him to shut it down. He's not a bad teammate. You have to be selfish as an athlete, or you're going to fall for everything. There's family in football, but you actually have to be in the family, and it's like mafia style. You don't just get born into it.
Yeah.
There's no football family that you're born into. There's football family you can earn into, and you have to be able to say to yourself and to the public, I'm doing what's best for me right now. I could give a Tiffany F what you think about it. That's because Coach Prime doesn't like it when I curse, and I'm trying really hard. So I personally think Butler's making the right decision. If Gage Genther or Big Lincoln or Jackson Cowgirl came to me and said, Coach, I'm going to shut it down for the rest of the year, I don't want to get hurt. I want to start training. I'm early enrolling in January.
Right. And I'll come work out with you every day.
Well, and I want to come work out every day and immerse in the film and really learn my trait. And they're already doing that to a point. But imagine what you could do on an everyday basis, because goddamn high school's cutting into development. And look, man, if you're going to go be a professional football player, you can now act like it at 17, 18 years old. I didn't have earning potential until I was fucking 22 years old. I had to be an amateur. Well, now you're a goddamn pro at 16 years old. If you know how to use Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, you can monetize it, you can post, you can act like an adult, and you have good people around you that can facilitate that.
Yep.
But if you've got a bunch of fuckboys around you that can't help you, and all they want to do is control the narrative, and they want to make sure that you stay there to help them win high school games, and you're a bad teammate, nah, you're a shitty coach if you hold down the player that can elevate and go to another place. If you're holding him down, how is that elevating the kid? How is that helping anyone? It doesn't.
I like how you trying to not curse because of Coach Prime lasted about 30 seconds within the same
Same
quote.
breath.
Look, if I say F-boy, it doesn't have the same feeling behind it.
Doesn't.
If I say Tiffany F, though, I feel like that would be a little bit more abrasive than just stating a fact that the world is full of fuckboys. Is that
All
not,
right.
that's not a thing?
Yeah. I'm not the one
Is that
complaining.
a thing, Jake?
I don't know,
I mean,
man.
I don't know if that's. I'm so sorry, all you F boys out there. If I offended you, then I'm serious. If I offended you in any way, I'm talking directly to you.
All right.
All right, let's get to super chats and questions. But first, shout out to us.
Us, we.
Yeah, if you guys have been enjoying the content, consider becoming a DNVR diehard. You can go sign up on the site at thednvr.com. You get a free shirt at sign up, 20% off all merch, 20% off events. You get access to the Diehards Only Discord. You also get a discount at the bar. There's exclusive merch, tons of other stuff. We are having an event on Friday. The DNVR Buffs crew is gonna be out in Tempe. We leave tomorrow morning, but
And watch out for Ryan, because he's going to be on one apparently.
but
Hand
if
me one of those
you,
buckets of tequila soda and it's over.
the bar's gonna be popping tomorrow night. Come on down. We've got the Next from Nashville concert event going on here. It's free. We've got happy hour from 6 to 8, half off select apps, $4 well whiskeys, $20 mix and match buckets. Tons of people performing. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on down.
And speaking of NIL, just real quick before we end, I know Savion's hurt right now, but you can still support him. Use the promo code Washington78. Go to 60equipment.com. Get yourself a body bag. It's the most elite blocking shield on the market. We've sold a bunch of them. I'm just going to say this, but we sold some to Nebraska. We upcharged them.
They need to get better. So
What?
they need to get better. So
Yeah, well,
I think
need
you
a
know how
bunch of
you
body
make
bags.
you make them like custom for the team.
Yeah.
You should just make theirs Buffs ones.
Well, I made
That would
sure
fire them up,
I
though.
made sure that when the N went in the middle, it was surrounded by everything else on the thing being black and gold. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, go to 60equipment.com, get yourself one. You can donate it to your high school. You can use it for yourself, but it's an elite piece of training equipment, and we're damn proud of it. So Washington 78, and you'll put 10% in Savion's pocket. All you Buff fans out there, support Big Man through NIL.
there you go. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. Also subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We would greatly appreciate your 5-star review as well.
Say that with your chest, Jake.
We would greatly appreciate your 5-star review on Apple Music, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Leave a 5-star request now.
There you
Review.
go.
Close enough.
Review. Is that
Supreme
not, that's not how it works?
Broncos.
It's not a request.
Will Miles Slusher be
You
back
weren't
this
really
week?
requesting.
To be determined.
It's more of a telling.
I'll try my
I would
best.
say, I guess no.
I would guess no as well. I'll be down on the field on Saturday pregame, and I'll let you know who's in uniform and who's not again.
There you go.
Questions?
Yep. Angela Thomas, does CU play sticky versus ASU so they can stop ASU's run game?
Look, I would love to see them, especially if Cormani is starting.
He's going to start, I
Just
think.
come out and play press man against these wide receivers. I think you might try to get a couple other linebackers on the field because of the fact that Scattaboo is just such a wagon. like, he's
a brick shit house, bro.
Yeah, like he's going to break some tackles.
Yep.
So
you better rally
you're gonna
and
have
tackle
to,
this dude.
you might want to get Levante Bentley out there and maybe go with some 3 linebacker sets rather than the 5 safety stuff that you've been doing, or 5 DB stuff that you've been doing with 3 safeties. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to see if ASU can force them to do that first. But like I said, I would love to see them come out and play press man and force these quarterbacks to beat them.
Especially with Shiloh back on the field. Travis isn't going to be there, but press man, cover 1, 8 man in the box.
That was
rally and tackle. They've got to do it.
That was my favorite thing about Cormani when I rewatched the film, is he was fearless, man. He'd step foot on the field and immediately got about an inch away from the wide receiver that he was covering.
He was an absolute stud.
Yep.
D time? Guys, how difficult will it be for CU to get a fast start against ASU? Will it be running or passing game to get rolling?
I don't think it'll be difficult at all as long as their mindset's in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If they go down and perform like they have in the second half of football games in the first half, this is going to be a very fun game in Tempe. If they struggle, it's because of a slow start.
Yep. I think running the ball is going to be the way to get a fast start.
I agree. And stopping their run, because they're damn sure going to try and run the ball.
They got to get Dylan involved more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And he had a bunch of touches last week. They did a good job getting the ball, but another 10 probably would have sufficed another score from 3.
Yeah, and he had a big play that got called back last week because of OPI on Javon Antonio.
He had no receptions last week.
Yep, he would have had at least one for about 30.
Yeah.
If that one didn't get called back.
Yep.
And then he got it was the offsetting penalties because they had the late hit out of bounds on him, which I think they actually enforced that wrong.
What surprised me, the refs were awful last week.
CU should have gained 5 yards after all was said and done, and they didn't.
They were terrible.
I don't think.
Yeah, they work at Staples.
That's a conference problem, by the way. Pay them
It
full
is.
time.
We tried to tell them that the Pac-12 refs are the worst.
Yeah, they are.
Before the
Terrible,
season.
bro.
Anyways,
Why would you want to be a ref?
what were we talking about? Oh, running the ball.
Yeah.
What day is this?
It reminds me of just a point I wanted to make today because I've seen a lot of people saying Alton should be starting.
Yeah.
Hankerson's a good backup.
Hankerson's a monster, bro.
What I just don't understand is, does that mean you think you know better than Coach Prime and Coach Flea?
Right.
And this is the other thing. Who gives a shit who starts at running back? They rotate everybody in so much. Who cares?
I mean, Alton has had very limited touches since he came back from injury. But what I'm telling you guys is maybe Alton, once he's at 100%, comes back and is the starter. Maybe to this point, Hankerson is outplaying him in practice. Coach Prime says it about everyone. He's not going to expect something from you in the game that he hasn't seen in practice. So personally, there are coaches that I question. I don't have any reason to question Coach Prime or Coach Flea at this point.
Absolutely
in terms of
zero.
If they're doing the best thing for the team.
Yeah, and he's coming off of injury. We know he's talented. He's young. They have a bevy of backs. Cavassier Smoke barely even plays. So let's be real. Or Smoke Cavassier. What is it?
Yeah,
Cavassier Smoke.
Yep.
I think Smoke Cavassier is also pretty cool.
Joey B, how does the undersized CU defense stop Scatabo for ASU? That's a...
Talked about that a little bit.
we're still doing the undersized thing?
They're not. They're not.
They're
not Georgia.
They're light on the line.
The 3 technique's 285, right?
Bishop?
That's small. 285 at 3 technique, bro. Is,
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about?
Cokes or Bishop?
Well, okay, so how big is Cokes? 290?
I can tell you right now.
Either way.
It's not a small man, but when you're a 320-pound guard and you've got a 330-pound tackle and you're double teaming a 285-pound guy, then there's a difference. That's all I'm saying. They are a little undersized. They have a hard time getting off blocks. They get stuck on pass rush. They need to move the defensive line. They need to run blitz. They need to walk somebody in the box, play one-on-one, man-to-man, like RK said earlier, and mash up the middle, rally and tackle the big back. And they've got to do a really good job. Look, this defense constantly is causing turnovers. Mm-hmm. They're one of the best in the country at causing turnovers. They're one of the worst in the country. Between the 20s, they'll give up some plays, but they're also great in the red zone, and they're great getting the ball. So when you first guy in, tackle the man, second guy in, tackle the goddamn ball, and let's go score a touchdown on defense. That's how you beat them.
And the big thing for me this week is, when you're going up against a power running attack like this, it's also a slower running attack.
Absolutely.
And that means you have more time to get into the backfield before the play is broken open. So even if you are a little undersized, that should allow you the quickness and speed to hopefully get into the backfield and make a play on this guy before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Facts.
Warren with the super chat. Trivia for RK. What schools has CU shared a conference with more and how many years?
What does that mean? Anyone?
Well, they were in the Big 8 forever, the Big 12, and the Pac-12 for 12 years.
What schools
So the
has
Big 8
CU
and Big
shared a
12?
conference with more?
Did they come? They didn't come over from the Big 12 with anyone to the Pac-12, right?
No.
It was just them.
Nebraska went to the Big 10. We went to Utah came with us, but they went from the Mountain West, right? Didn't Utah come up?
Warren, I would love to do your trivia. I just don't understand the question.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 3 other teams going with them to the Big 12, though.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
team included.
Yeah.
It'll be the 3rd conference that they have been in with Utah.
Yeah.
'Cause they were in the Big
they're like-
7, right? Or Big 6 or something.
I think way
Big-
back
Big
when it was
West
like the
or
Rocky
something, the
Mountain.
Rocky Mountain Conference.
Something or other, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't around for that one.
Maybe that's the answer to his question that
Okay,
he's trying
good.
to
That's
ask.
what I was thinking it maybe was.
Yeah.
That's right there for you, bud.
Daryl is asking, can I contribute to the 5430 Foundation more than once a year? Of course.
Yes,
Daryl
absolutely.
from St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I
Appreciate
heard
you, bro.
from them that they are going to try and set up like a monthly recurring donation, which is, I think, a great way to do it.
Sure. Super chat from Reef. Here you go, Matt. Zesty or saucy in this sense is a way to joke about someone being soft when we know that they aren't. More so a way to mess around with your buddies.
Yeah.
So if someone's saucy, they're soft.
All right. Last
Okay.
one here.
Cool.
Let's get to 400 likes.
Triple L, will the game be on Pac-12 Mountain TV? Yes, it'll be on the main Pac-12 network as well, too.
So main Pac-12 and Pac-12 Mountain.
I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
Every CU game is on Pac-12 Mountain, I
Okay,
think.
cool.
So,
I trust you.
Well, go Buffs. I think they get a big win.
Yeah, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 51-24 CU.
Ooh, that would be so nice. That would be so nice.
are we doing this?
Multiple turnovers.
Oh, we'll do ours tomorrow.
big,
okay.
big time win. Shador goes off. I think it's going to be awesome.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go, man.
And then I think they're going to crush Stanford.
I think
And
so,
then
too.
bye week, baby.
Let's go.
Could be 5-2 with Travis coming
sir.
back, man.
Right, check out 6-0 Academy. Check out 6-0 Equipment. Really appreciate this. I love Thursdays. I'll be back next week.
All right, shout out to you, chat. Let's go Buffs.
You know
Let's go
it.
Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.